aka Thrifts and Tangles. Today I'm here with a life update and a Q&A. I asked some questions on Instagram, or I asked if you had questions on Instagram, and I got a few responses, so I'm going to cover those. But let's get into the life update. My main life update is I've been MIA on socials for a while. I've been posting here and there. I've had some sponsored content that's I've been kind of sprinkling out throughout the past few months, but I have been so unmotivated, so tired, and I just wanted to sleep all day and just do nothing. And that is because I am pregnant. I never knew the first trimester was as, I want to say horrible. Everyone says the vocabulary I'm using regarding pregnancy is very harsh, but it's so true. The first trimester was not fun at all. It had me drained. I literally would wake up, eat, go to work, and just the thought of going to work and sitting through a whole work day was exhausting. And then after, the thought of creating content was even more exhausting. So I just I was I just can't do it. I just want to, I'm just existing at this point, and it feels like there's just no motivation. So I'm finally in the second trimester and I have way more energy now. Thankfully, I've been back on creating content and I'm feeling like myself again. If you want me to do a video talking about the first trimester and essentials and just how the struggles and the cravings and stuff like that, let me know in the comments below and I would definitely do one. But man, I'm very excited to be pregnant. We really wanted to try to have a kid and we tried, and it happened it happened so fast. I was really surprised by it. And I think it's because I got off my birth control a few months ago, a few months ago. So I think that helped, because I have a lot of friends who said that birth control really affects their hormones and it made it hard for them to get pregnant and that they were really struggling. So I think getting off the birth control early is what helped me be able to get pregnant so quickly. But yeah, I'm excited. They are 80% sure we're having a little girl. So I've been brainstorming names and just trying to figure out the nursery and all of those things. So that is the biggest life update. Let's get into the Q&A. Again, I'm out of breath. I'm pregnant. I'm sorry if I'm huffing and puffing in your face right now. So my first question is most helpful tips for starting modeling, and do you have any ethical modeling tips? So if you want to start modeling, the first thing you need to do is take digitals or get digitals taken. You can just have a friend or a family member or a coworker take pictures of you against a blank wall of you wearing a very simple outfit. Keep your makeup very minimal. You can do a no makeup look, but they really want to see your features. They don't want glam. They want you to look how you would look if you showed up blank face that day. But I don't know. I used to show up blank face and my agency was no, you could do a no makeup look. So you can definitely put on a little makeup. And they don't have, people get so hung up on my pictures have to be professional and they have to be this and that. No, the hardest part should not be getting your digitals. But a lot of agencies will have it where they have an online portal looking for new models. You can submit digitals there. That's how I got signed to my agency in LA. I submitted digitals that way. Some agencies will have model casting calls where you actually show up in person. So you can research local agencies in your area that are doing casting calls and actually show up. Again, basic outfit. You can wear heels. Keep it simple, black, nude, white, whatever. You could do a Google search on what to wear to a casting call. And I think that's the best way to get started. Also, getting comfortable in front of the camera. You can work with local photographers to build your book. So the digitals is how you get into the door and how they see your face and how you can kind of get signed and if they like your look. But you can have digitals, but you also need to be able to know how to pose and feel comfortable in front of the camera. So if you just do trade for trade shoots where you help the photographer build their book and they help you build your book, that at least will help you build your comfort and confidence in front of the camera. So that way, if you do land a modeling gig, you're not looking like a deer in the headlights. That's how I was when I first started. I did not know how to pose. I was so stiff. But after a lot of practice and, trying out different photographers and learning my angles and stuff, it just got easier. So practice, take a lot of pictures. And I think that's the best way to get started into modeling. And as far as ethical modeling goes, I signed with an ethical modeling agency, so that means that they only work with brands who aren't in alignment with their models' values. So we have a lot of vegan models on our board who they work with a lot of vegan companies, like stuff like that, or sustainable companies. So I'm signed with Role Models Management. They're based in LA and they're based in California. In New York. Just bear with me through this video. I'm talking and I'm not making sense. They just really make sure that the models are comfortable and that they're not promoting a lot of fast fashion brands. The next question is, what do you think is the easiest sustainable switch to make? I think for a lot of people, the easiest switch is switching to a reusable water bottle. I've seen so many people who aren't really that big into sustainability just drinking out their water bottles. I don't know, the water bottles are really cute. They're easy to carry around. You can hold a lot more water than like a little plastic bottle. So I think that might be the easiest switch. All right, the next question is, what dream brands do you want to work with and what makes them a dream brand for you? I would love to work with eBay. I have pitched myself to eBay once in the past and I never heard back. I had a great idea, I thought, but that's okay, maybe one day. And I think they're a dream brand just because they've been a part of my lifestyle for so long. Like I grew up with my mom selling things on eBay. Like I shop on eBay quite often and there's something that is already in my life or integrated in my life. So it would just be a seamless partnership. I think those are my dream brands where it's a partnership that just makes sense because I already am familiar with the platform or the product or whatever it is. The next question is, how do you maintain productivity as a content creator? I think this is really difficult to do, especially if you're working a full-time job. But for me, the easiest thing is having systems in place and having a schedule. So I use Google Calendars. I love Google Calendars so much. It just keeps me organized. But having a day like Monday is the day I respond to emails. Wednesday is the day I film videos. Friday is the day I take pictures. Like having some sort of schedule that you can follow is very helpful. And I think another thing is like follow creators who really inspire you. And if this is something you want to do full time, currently I do it part time. If you want to do it full time, following people who inspire you who are doing this full time is a good reminder. Like this is why I'm trying to stay productive. This is why I'm creating this content. Because I want to eventually go full time, but also I want to connect with my audience. And I think talking to your audience a lot online also helps you be productive because if they're looking forward to seeing the content you're creating and if you're going back and forth like connecting with them, it makes it more enjoyable to show up because you know someone's actually on the other end of that screen identifying with and receiving and relating to your content. But it is hard to stay productive. And I think it's okay to give yourself time to take breaks. Actually, I have a podcast called the Orange Collab Let's Talk Orange podcast. And we did an episode about like taking breaks as a content creator. So I'll put it in the description box down below. But you don't have to be productive at all times. And I think that's something we're finally learning as a society. Like you don't have to always like be a part of hustle culture. The next question is, what's your all-time favorite top 3 candy brands, eco-friendly or not? Okay, top 3 candy brands. I love truffles. Like this is a recent realization I have had. Like if I have a truffle, I am the happiest person ever. So I really like Fannie Mae. I think they're based in Chicago. I think that's where they originated and that's where I'm from. Fannie Mae's chocolates are really good. They're really delicious. So I really like Fannie Mae's. I just recently found a chocolate brand. I think it's called Tony's. I went to Whole Foods one day and this bar was the biggest bar you've ever seen in your life. Tony's chocolate is very, very delicious. I enjoyed it. The flavors were really good. And then the last candy brand I really like is I like Alter Eco. I just like chocolate. I feel like that's my answer for all candy. It's all chocolates. But Alter Eco, they are an eco-friendly chocolate company. And I think their packaging is compostable. I worked with them a few times. I'm on their PR list, so I get gifted chocolate from them a lot. But it is really good. And I like they have truffle thin. So it's like a chocolate bar that has like a little thin layer on the inside of like truffle filling or something. I don't know. It's so good. And then they have actual like little truffle balls that you can buy. But I actually gave those as a favor at my wedding. They are tasty if you never tried it. Okay, the next question is, do you ever experience eco guilt? I feel like every now and then I'm just like, I'll do something where I'm like, oh, like I'm destroying the planet. I'm contributing to all the waste on the planet. Like I'll use like a paper, I don't know, a plastic utensil or something, like, or I'll eat out or something. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing enough. But then when you think about the corporations who are destroying the planet, and our individual actions do matter, but it doesn't even compare to these corporations who are so wasteful. Or like even like airlines who will run flights that are completely empty. So when I remember that I am not as wasteful as these corporations and I am at least trying my best, I don't really feel eco guilt in that way. But I do sometimes feel like everything's burning, or like when it's snowing when it should not be snowing. Like that just, that doesn't sit right with me. But that doesn't have to do with the fact that I had a plastic straw one day. Like that does not, I try to make it so I don't take it personally, or I don't feel like guilt personally, but it is really upsetting. But people are fighting for change, and eventually I feel like we're going to be forced to change. So that gives me hope. It's very dark, very unfortunate, but that does give me hope. Who in your family shocked you by turning to a more sustainable lifestyle? I think that maybe my husband. He's been really, really accepting of the sustainable lifestyle. Like immediately he was on board with making changes. I was like, we're not eating off plastic or paper plates anymore, or using plastic utensils. And he's like, yeah, you're right. We're being wasteful. Like, let's stop. And he's just been very like accepting of it. But now he cut out beef and like red meat altogether, because he learned that red meat just is not good for carbon emissions and stuff like that. And so he's been really passionate about, like, I guess with the destruction of rainforests and stuff. He read up all on it, and he's like, I'm not eating beef anymore. And he used to love hamburgers. So that was like, wow, he's making bolder changes than I am in regards to food. So that kind of shocked me a little bit, and that was really nice to see, because he is very mindful about his impact on the planet. And I don't have to nag him to do that, or I don't say like, he's the one who's like, this is wasteful, we should change. And he gives suggestions now. So that's really cool. Okay, the next question is, do you think our society is peaking in its understanding of how fast fashion brands affect the planet? Do you mean peaking like we're like at an all-time high of understanding it? Or do you mean peaking as if like it's going to peak and then it's going to go down? Or is it like, because if it's a peak, it's like, it's the top of the thing, so the chart, so it's going to have to go down eventually. If you mean at an all-time high, yes, I think society does understand how fast fashion affects the planet, but I think there's still a lot of people who don't know like how fast fashion affects the waterways. And I think people know fast fashion, like people aren't getting paid fairly to create fast fashion, but I don't know if they so much know how it affects the planet or how things are made. Like I still feel like we're disconnected, but I think there's a lot more information out there and people educating on how clothing items are made. So I don't know. I feel like we're not peaked yet, but I feel like we're getting to the point where we're almost at the peak. But I hope it doesn't go down. Like I hope people don't learn and then don't care, and then they unlearn the knowledge. Because it's one of those things. Once you can't unlearn what you know, right? You know what you know, and once you know that information, I feel like you maybe should try to do better. I know some people don't care at all. They're like, I only have one life to live. Like, who cares, this and that. But people just lack empathy. So yeah, I hope it just doesn't peak and then people forget or stop caring. But again, I think we're going to be forced to change at some point. Like, I don't know if you guys read Parables of the Sower by Octavia Butler. They were not living in a great society. Like, they were in survival mode, and who is going to be able to buy fast fashion when we are in survival mode? This is very dark, very depressing. And I'm laughing because, I mean, that's all you can do at this point, because otherwise you're just going to be in a miserable spiral. What is the most important thing you've learned about yourself as a content creator? Ooh, I have learned that I do not like batch posting. The way I create content is it might not be the most efficient, but it works for me. And when I change or stray away from it and I try to do batch posting, it gets too much. So what I do is I will come up with an idea, maybe write a script for that idea, film the idea, edit the idea, and then create graphics for the idea, and then schedule it to go live. What most people would recommend is you film all in one setting. I will take pictures all in one setting because I'm like, I already got cute, I put on the makeup, I should take pictures. And pictures for me are less draining than getting on camera and filming. But if I was good at batching, I would film a video right after this one. Am I gonna do that? Probably not. Or some people make all their thumbnails in one go. Like my brain doesn't work that way. Like and they say it's supposed to be when you're in graphic mode, when you're in thumbnail making mode, your brain's involved in that and you can knock out so many more thumbnails instead of switching from thumbnail, now this and that. That's how some people work. My brain, I want to get the whole project done. Like it reminds me of like a school project where it's like one at a time. You start the school project, you finish it. And I was a great student. So I don't know if that's why, like I can't, I don't know. And I don't like doing the same task over and over. Like the way I work, I get really bored really quickly, I feel like, or I don't know. I need some variety. So it's nice when I finish a script, then I'm like, okay, now I can create a graphic. Like I don't want to do scripts all day long. But someone told me this that was really helpful. Instead of batching up front and creating all the content up front, like creating all your videos up front at once, all this and that, she said batch on the back end. So do video by video by video, like do the whole process of creating a video and then save it before posting, and maybe wait to schedule until you complete another video. And then now you have, a whole project complete, and then you have another one. So now I have 3 videos, and then I can schedule those to go live versus just trying to knock simultaneously like different projects out at once. Does that make sense? Anyways, that's what I've learned about myself as a creator. I work a certain way and I need to stick to what works for me. I need to stop trying to do what other people are suggesting, because I will not make content for months if I try to switch it up or if I try to be more efficient. So that's everything for the Q&A. I really hope you enjoyed this video and this life update. I really hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want me to talk about the first trimester in a video, and let me know if you want me to talk about modeling in another video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.